Robert De Niro or something, and we run through the scene and we rehearse it, and he turns to the director and goes, "Is that what he's gonna fucking do?" And and then feeling really intimidated and like going, "Oh no, no, I'm not gonna, no, no, of course not." But Nick was so great because we sat down and we ran the scene, and then that was when I found out how he was doing it. It was super super low key, and but what he's doing to my character, he's just totally just taking him apart with just looking at him and just asking him simple questions and just being really quiet and forcing him to reconsider every life choice he's ever made. And it was great. We just got to play, it was really fun and really just like where any little changes that I made affected what he did and how he would say the next line. He would say something maybe a little differently, and I would pick up on that. It was really nice. It was a really good experience,
So where did you shoot that at?
We shot that in Portland, Oregon. That's
okay.
Where the bulk of it was shot. It was shot there and up in Hood River, which is not far from Oregon, but that's where all the foresty stuff was.
Yeah, Oregon, that's where the story takes place, correct?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
very cool.
And
it doesn't happen a lot of times that it actually gets shot in the place where.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, sometimes cities pretend to be other cities, but this was a real low budget movie, and they only had about, I think, 3 weeks to shoot it, and so the only people who were not like all the actors are from Portland except for the top three, except for Nicholas and Alex Wolff and Adam Arkin, but all the rest of us were sort of Portland local. So
nice.
Yeah.
Did that help you guys get the roles?
Well, yeah, it's kind of a smaller pool of talent than it would have been if they'd cast it out of Los Angeles, because there's 8 million actors in LA, and I think that if it were cast out of LA, I don't know that I would have had this opportunity, but the fact that they were casting pretty much all the parts, and this one in particular, because it's a really really good part. I mean, it's a 10-minute showcase scene with the star of the movie, and that could have been a cameo by anybody maybe, but I was super fortunate that it was me. So, and that he liked all the ideas that I brought to it. So so everybody was happy. I was happy. Everybody happy.
So you have been in the acting business for a long time. For sure.
Yes.
You've had some great opportunities to be in film, TV shows. What was your first piece of work, actually?
My first, I started out, my dad was an actor, and he did a lot of theater and stage. And so I grew up in New York and started doing some theater when I was in high school. And I was really lucky to be cast in a Broadway show when I was 16 or 17. So I was in a musical called Runaways, and I was sort of in it. I was hired as an understudy, so which meant that if anything happened to the guy who was playing the role that I was understudying, then I could come on at the last minute and sit in for him. And that happened in the first week I was there. The guy threw his vocal cords out, and that guy, as I remember, was Paul McCrane, who is an actor who was in RoboCop. I think he was one of the bad guys in that. And he was on, I think, ER or one of those things. But yeah, so Paul was the one who threw his throat out. And so I went on, I did one performance, and then they came back and said, we're closing the show in 2 weeks. So Paul came back and finished out the run. So one night on Broadway. And then when I moved out to Los Angeles from New York, which was like right after high school, I got cast in the lead in a thing they were doing for great performances, a Mark Twain story, a Mark Twain book called Life on the Mississippi. And I got to play Mark Twain. Also because the guy who was cast, who was, I think it was Dennis Christopher, who was he's still around, but he was in a movie called Breaking Away a bunch of years ago, and he broke his arm. And I had nothing to do with these things, by the way, just so we're clear.
I was going to ask.
That was not me.
There's a pattern emerging here.
You know? Interesting, isn't it? I don't know how these things happen, but okay. See, I know a guy.